I just don't know anymore. Hey, what's going on? Matt O'Leary back with another video recapping the New York Jets versus Detroit Lions, and that took a lot out of me. That was just Before we get started today, you can follow on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to check out the Just Jets podcast wherever it is that you get your show. So the New York Jets win the coin toss and would defer, putting their defense on the field first. DeAndre Swift, 9-yard run on a pitch to start this one off. Third down, Raymond picks it up on Whitehead. Jordan Whitehead wasn't really great in coverage. Amon-Ra St. Brown picks up a third down, and then they get it really into the red zone. They were moving the ball really well, Detroit was, in that first half, and for a nice chunk of the game today. Third and goal from the 3, they get it to the 1-yard line to make it 4th and goal from the 1. The Jets defense comes up huge. It was Quincy Williams and Will Parks who came in and just made an unbelievable play to keep this one scoreless. Jets go 3 and out. No flag on the Garrett Wilson route, which I just don't understand at all. And then you get a punt return for a touchdown. Braden Mann, I don't. People have said that I'm too mean to Braden Mann, so I guess I just won't say anything. You know how I feel about Braden Mann. Punt return for a touchdown, just poor coverage on that one as well, just not great. Zach Wilson finds Denzel Mims for a first down, then he gets hurt and has to leave the game. He would not return with a concussion. Then Jeff Smith, then a sack on third down untouched. The Jets punted away. The Jets defense, they force a punt. They look much better. Huff held on third down. Bryce Huff was, active today. But just pass rush wasn't consistent enough. Then this was probably the best Jets drive of the day. You would have a nice throw from Zach Wilson to Garrett Wilson for like 33 yards, and then a 40-yarder, Zach Wilson, CJ Uzomah getting involved for a touchdown. What do you know? Rolling out Zach Wilson, getting him on the move. That's when he's at his best. Next possession for the Detroit Lions, DJ Reed was beat, but Goff underthrew Jameson Williams, so that would set up a 4th and 3. They would pick it up. Carter was beat again by Amon-Ra St. Brown, Michael Carter struggled today. He hasn't been good the last couple of weeks after starting out incredibly hot. You'd get bailed out by a couple of Lions holding penalties. JFM goes down. He would return, but Carl Lawson ends up getting a pressure, causing an incompletion on Jared Goff, which would make the Lions settle for 3 to make it a 10-7 game. Next possession for the Jets, you get an absolute strike to Elijah Moore. Okay, I like that. A little rush for a first down on 3rd and 1. Things you like to see. Elijah Moore used on a jet sweep finally. Like, these are the things that we've wanted to see for such a really long time. You got a borderline intentional grounding call. I didn't agree with that one. I thought it should have been they should have let it go. That's something that the referees tend to let go more often than not in that spot. Jets punt into the end zone, so unable to cough and corner it. The Lions start the ball on the 20-yard line. The Jets force a punt, and you would think, all right, they're just going to kneel out to end the half, but no, you would get an absolute bomb from Zach Wilson to Jeff Smith. Nice pitch and catch. It looked like Jeff Smith was held in the end zone. Could have been a touchdown before the half to put the Jets up 14-10. Instead, they settle for 3, and it's a 10-10 game going into the half. And honestly, first half, Zach Wilson was solid. He looked good. He had a passing touchdown, almost had 2, couple of big plays. Third quarter, just off a cliff. First quarter kind of struggled. Second quarter, great. Third quarter, abysmal. Fourth quarter, a little bit better. It's just not a consistent enough effort from Zach Wilson today in order for the New York Jets to win, along with a lot of other things. So you'd get just a grotesque interception that would set up a Lions field goal to make it 13-10. And then Mike LaFleur and Zach Wilson just go way too conservative after the turnover. It's like they completely shut down after the turnover. You'd get Fant called on a holding. They punt the ball back. Jets defense plays well. They force a punt. They get good pressure on third down. And then the Jets get the ball, and Michael Carter just completely bails out Zach Wilson. The ball gets tipped up in the air. And for some reason, Michael Carter's able to make it just an unbelievable play. Thank you for that. Drive stays alive. You have a direct snap to Tyler Conklin. Barrios drop, which is just... Braxton Berrios has not been good the last few weeks. He's just a really, really tough day. Then you had the miss to Garrett Wilson on third down. That would have picked things up for the Jets. That's one that you gotta hit. And it felt like, all right, things are just going to go off the rails. I'm going to get completely rough. Jets defense, they dial up some pressure. They force another punt. And you have a Garrett Wilson drop, which is frustrating, especially after, he was emotional after the miss to Garrett Wilson. I understand it. There was many times today. There were many plays left on the field from Zach. Unfortunately, we'll talk about the numbers at the end, but this should have been a bigger day, even offensively, than what it ended up being. Moore gets a nice move to set it up for third and short. Unable to convert, so Jets go 3 and out. They punt it back. Lions drive a little bit, but the Jets defense forces the Lions to attempt a 54-yard field goal. No good. The Jets get great field position, and finally, they capitalize on it. Just an insane catch from Garrett Wilson. What a play from Zach Wilson to Garrett Wilson. An unbelievable catch. Zach Wilson tries to quarterback sneak it in. He is unable to find the end zone. Instead, a really nice call from Mike LaFleur. Play action, little bootleg to the right. Zach Wilson finds CJ Uzomah, and the Jets are up 17-13. Jets get some pressure from the Detroit Lions. Force a drop from the tight end on Brock Wright. Okay, Brock Wright, maybe hero for the Jets. Pause. Not going to end up being the case. You had a beautiful tackle from Tony Adams. Creates 4th and inches. And then you get a 51-yard touchdown. 51-yard touchdown to Brock Wright to make it a 22-17 game. And now Zach Wilson has to lead the Jets right back down the field. And they pick up 2 incredibly long 4th downs, including a one that's like a real long scramble at the end. Elijah Moore comes back on the ball. He catches it. He goes down with 1 second left. Timeout. Greg the Leg is going to have a chance from 58 yards to tie this game. No good. The Jets fall 20-17, and they drop to 7-7 on the season. They are 2-5 in their last 7 games. Frustrating. For me, few things. One, the clock management at the end of the game was incredibly bizarre. How, after Garrett Wilson comes up with the first down with about 48 seconds left in the game, why Robert Saleh doesn't call a timeout at that point is incredibly bizarre. They had 3 in their pocket, elected not to take a timeout. And then on top of that, just not a good enough day from Zach Wilson. And yes, there's some gaudy numbers in there, but they left a lot on the field, and especially when you consider that essentially nothing happened in the third quarter, it's crazy. So Zach Wilson finished 18-35, 317 yards, 9.1 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 4 sacks, and an 89.8 rating. Completion percentage, what was that, like 52%? They weren't able to run the ball at all. They ran it 22 times for 50 yards. Garrett Wilson, 4 catches, 98 yards. Jeff Smith, 4 for 71. Elijah Moore, 4 for 51. CJ Uzomah, 2 for 41 and 2 touchdowns. It wasn't enough today. It wasn't enough. Just an unbelievably frustrating sequence at the end of this game. And that's it. The Jets dropped to 7-7. They're going to need to win out and get some significant help down the stretch in order for them to make the playoffs this year. Quick turnaround with Jacksonville on Thursday. As of recording this, Jacksonville won in overtime 40-34 against the Dallas Cowboys. Trevor Lawrence is surging right now, and it's about as frustrating as it gets. It's just weeks and weeks in a row. A 3-game losing streak, right? Well, yeah, a 3-game losing streak. They've lost 4 of 5, but over this 3-game stretch, you've had 3 unbelievably frustrating losses with a drop in the end zone from Braxton Berrios a few weeks ago, unable to complete the comeback against the Buffalo Bills with Mike White leaving twice, and then just not enough today. 20-17. They dropped to 7-7. I don't know. Sound off below in the comments, I guess. Get after me on social media. I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll talk to you next time.